What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is my review of episode 1 of Halo. First of all, I just want to say hi, and I hope you're all doing well. I have been away for so long. It feels like I've been away all month. I've really just been on tour for like weeks. I just got back yesterday. I was in Ecuador, then Mexico, then Miami, and then the Dominican Republic. And I just got home yesterday. It's been a crazy few weeks. But I did get time to watch the first episode of Halo. And of course, I'm going to talk about it because it's Halo. It's my all-time favorite thing. It's my best franchise. One of the best things ever in my life. I've grown up with it as a kid. I've played every single game. It's a huge thing for me. Halo is really important. So now we've got a Halo TV series. It has been so exciting for me because I just couldn't wait to see live action Halo. We got the Neil Blomkamp Halo sort of short film like years ago. That was really cool at the time. We was supposed to be getting a Halo movie Halo trilogy made by Peter Jackson, which would have been incredible. I will never, ever be able to be happy that never happened. Anyway, we've got the new Halo TV series, which is going to be 9 episodes. It is really exciting times for Halo fans. So going into this, being such a big Halo fan, I expected a certain thing, which I think is really something that I shouldn't do. I think if you're a Halo fan, if you're a huge Halo fan, don't go into this expecting it to be Halo because it's very different. It's a very different type of Halo to what you'll want and what you probably expected. But saying that, there is so much good stuff in here that I actually was quite impressed. I genuinely felt pretty impressed by the majority of this episode. They get so much right in this. There are so many things in here that's just really good and really exciting, and it's very promising for the future of this series. But they also get a lot of things wrong, and they get a lot of stuff, like some of the decisions that are made in this, I don't understand the choices behind it. I don't understand the creative process where they've decided, like, okay, yeah, let's do that, because it just doesn't work. It almost feels like I understand it, they're trying to make a Halo series that's got a huge budget. It's like $90 million budget for the whole nine series, like $10 million each episode. It's a massive budget. So they're wanting it to appeal to obviously the Halo audience, the Halo fan base, but also to a wider audience. So I can understand why they might be making certain decisions that they're making. But it also confuses me because it's Halo. Why aren't you just keeping certain things the way that they are in Halo? Because they're already so good within the main storyline in the original canon. So why don't you just keep them like that? Because it's so good anyway, but they don't. They change it up like big time. And I just will never, I don't think I'll ever understand them decisions really. But anyway, the first 20 minutes of this episode literally are amazing. I was really impressed. I was like, completely blown away by some stuff that happens. It is really graphic. It's really violent. Like, that was the first thing that made me go, whoa, okay, that is sick, because I did not expect it at all. The level of gore that happens in this first episode, it was so different to what Halo is. You don't see this sort of stuff in the games really at all, and this has got so much like violence and gore in it that I thought it was sick. I really loved it. The way that they portray the Covenant, the way that the Covenant are in this are scary. Like, they are literally like monsters. It is so good. Like, I feel like they've nailed it with the Covenant, and I think that they've done them in a pretty much a perfect way, because for a live action Halo series to make out the Covenant to be the way that they've made him out is just really good. I feel like they've made him such a presence and such a force to be reckoned with, and I really did like that. The action scene that we get in this episode is really good. The choreography of the action scenes are great. The visual effects, for me, I thought were pretty impressive for the most part. There's definitely some weird bits where you can tell that it's CGI. I mean, you can tell it's all CGI. It's not the best CGI that you've ever seen, but it's still really good, especially for a TV show. I'm happy with how the CGI looks, but there is some weird bits where you're like, that doesn't really look good at all. But the majority of this looks great. I feel like the elites, the way that they look, certain other characters that I won't spoil here, but certain other characters look amazing. There's one character that you'll be so happy to see if you're a fan of Halo in this. It looks amazing. A lot of the visual effects look great, but like I said, some of them just look so stupid. So yeah, for that part, I was pretty impressed, but some of it could have been better. The Spartans in this look amazing. The armor is just so good. Like, honestly, the design of these Spartans armor, obviously we'll go into Master Chief, but just the silver team, who Chief's like team is, they just look amazing, like so good. And the stuff that they do is really good. Like, they are just so solid in this, which I think is great. They've done the Spartans perfect, I think, in this. It looks really, really good. Some of the new characters that we get introduced to are really good. The main girl that we get introduced to, called Kwan Ha, she's really good. Like, her acting is just really, really impressive. I was genuinely impressed by her. At first, I was a bit worried because I knew that the story was going to focus on her quite a lot. But straight away, I was really impressed by her. So that was great to know that we're going to have a series with this new character, and she's actually really good at acting. Was like, I was happy about that. So let's talk about Master Chief. Master Chief in this was, I'm conflicted with him because he looks amazing. Like, he looks amazing and he's solid. Like, he does some really, really cool stuff in this. So I feel like they've got him right in the way that he looks and the way that he fights, and just the stuff that he does is really, really good. But the voice, it isn't Chief at all. It's really hard to see past it. I just feel like it's I don't know, it just makes me feel like, oh, I don't know if I like hearing that voice coming from him. It obviously isn't him. It's Pablo Schreiber, who's the actor playing Master Chief. Obviously, because it's doing live action, they've got this new guy who's having to play Master Chief for the whole series. And this is no secret, they've already announced and talked about this, that he does take his helmet off, and he takes it off in this episode. I don't know how much going forward he takes it off, but I've heard it's quite a lot. So I understand that's obviously why they've had to get a different actor in. I get it, but it just doesn't feel like Chief at all when he's speaking. I can't see past it. I feel like I will warm to it over time, but in this episode, I was like, oh, it just doesn't feel like Chief at all. And as I was saying, he takes his helmet off, and in this moment, it completely changed it for me. It went from feeling like Halo to not feeling like Halo at all, and being like, this is weird. Like, put it back on, please just put it back on, but he doesn't. It was so weird. I was like, no, this is just going on. It's too much. I couldn't handle it at all. And I just wish that they'd never made that creative decision to make him take the helmet off. It just doesn't feel right. I just hope going forward that he doesn't take it off too much. I don't mind here and there because I get it. I accept that they're doing it. So it is what it is. But like, I just hope that they don't. But I've heard that they do, that he does take it off a lot, which is going to be so annoying. To see him out of his armor is going to be so strange. But I know that they're going to do that because they've already mentioned that they want to humanize him and make him more approachable for people to watch and to connect with, which I don't think you need to do, but whatever, it is what it is. So we'll just have to wait and see. Some of the writing in this is just so stupid. Like, there's a moment, without spoiling anything, but when you watch this episode, just pay attention to the people that are using certain guns in the action scene, because these guns are not working at all against certain characters, but then when another character uses them, they literally kill everything. So with the same weapon that just never worked a moment ago, it's really sloppy writing, and that concerns me a bit, because if that's how the writers are writing this already, then it makes me think, well, what they're going to do in future stuff. Like, I just hope that it doesn't get so stupid. But, yeah, there's definitely some sloppy writing in this. The story and what they're setting up for the series, I actually don't mind. I quite like it. I really like the dynamic between Chief and Kwan Ha. I feel like them two are going to be good, even though some of it is a bit stupid. Something's happened to her in her past because of Master Chief, and it's almost like forgotten about. It's weird. But, yeah, I don't know, I guess that's just the writing, but I actually don't mind them two together. I just wish that they just stuck to, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but they're not sticking with canon. It's actually called the Silver Timeline canon, which is basically they're just doing a whole complete different Halo universe, still based on Halo, but they're changing loads of stuff because it's not canon. And I just wish that they'd stuck with canon storyline, because there's so much you can do with the original story, because it's just amazing. I would have preferred it if it was just Master Chief and Cortana, and it was based on their dynamic like it is in the games. You can change it. You can have a different storyline. It doesn't need to be what's the storyline in the games. But instead of having Kwan Ha why not have it as Cortana? I just wish that they did that. But whatever. I mean, Cortana already throughout the trailers that we've seen looks terrible in this, so I'm not even looking forward to Cortana being in it because it doesn't look like her at all. So I'm a little bit worried about that as well, but yeah, I just have to wait and see what happens with that. The music in this is proper crap. Like, it's not good at all. They don't have the Halo music whatsoever. It's really weird why they haven't chosen to use the original Halo soundtrack. I get they want to do their own thing, but like Halo's got so many amazing scores and songs from the originals and all the different games that have come out. Why not use them in the new series? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe they have problems with Marty O'Donnell, who's the composer for the music in Halo, but I don't know. It's just really weird. So yeah, the music is definitely a negative in this. Some of the environments that we get look so good. Like, some of the shots of certain locations from the games look really, really good. Like, the CGI and the visual effects of these environments look really good and massive. Like, really, really big. So that was exciting because I don't know, just going ahead in this series, if we get a lot more of that, it's going to be really, really good. Like, a lot of stuff's huge, and it should be because it is huge, and they've nailed that, so that was good. Also, another thing that was really interesting in this, the way that they've portrayed the UNSC and the Spartans, the way that they're perceived by certain people from other planets and just people that we get introduced to, the way that the UNSC and the Spartans and the whole military as a whole is perceived is very different to what I expected, and I thought that was really, really good because we've got a certain feel for the UNSC and for Master Chief and all the Spartans because of the games that we've played, and we've been playing as them, part of the UNSC, so we've had a certain feeling for them, but this really shows you them in a different light for certain parts because of other people's perception of them, because of things that have happened in the past with them, and some of it's pretty fucked up, and some of it's pretty dark, and it's very different to what I had expected, but I really do like it. It's very interesting, and I feel like it's a good take on the UNSC as a whole, and yeah, I think that's really, really good. But as a whole, for me, this episode was really, really interesting. I found it really entertaining. The action's amazing. It impressed me more than I expected it to. Just in different ways. I knew it was going to be good, and I knew that production value was going to be sick because of the budget. It looks really, really good. But yeah, some of the decisions that they're making, the way that the story's starting to look like it's heading, just the things that they decide on with certain characters, just I don't think are any good. Or I would have at least done them differently. And I just wish that they stuck to the original Halo canon because there's just so much you could do with that. Or at least keep certain things the way that they are in the original canon, but maybe just change the story around. I don't know. There's a lot of things we would have done different, but really, at the end of all this, from this episode, I'm excited. I can't wait to see more. I think it is actually a really good episode. It's a good starting point, I personally think. I just think Halo fans have got to go into this just not expecting too much and not expecting what we know from the games because it's completely different. So for me, if I was to give this a rating, I'm really torn because it's difficult because I just wanted more, but I also was happy with what I got. It's really weird. It's a very bizarre feeling because wanting something from a certain thing and you don't get it, but you just still enjoy the thing you get anyway. It's hard to sort of give that a rating because I just wish that there was the things there that I wanted, but they're not. So for me, if I was to give this rating out of 10, I would have to give it a 7 out of 10. But anyways, guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. That'd be amazing for me. And if you are new here and you want to stay updated with my content, please hit the subscribe button. But thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time on wAFF World.